a lot of space to farm up.
Right.
But we don't have a life stealer on the offlane anymore. So you don't have that magic community. Does Navi try and go like Weaver style and go offlane with her Vorce to give him some kind of escape mechanism? Or is it too risky when you got something like a Crystal Maiden that could just come in and frostbite you and hold you there and you lose that escape mechanism?
I think it could be worth it to go for something like a Weaver, maybe not this soon. But the Weaver is nice because Alliance's team don't have a lot of lockdown except for the CM, right? Like it's only the Frostbite.
Yep.
So between Clinks and Weaver, you have two very high physical damage dealers who, in all honesty, should never really get hit by even a call down, right? Like it's so easy to avoid that spell, especially as a Weaver. And then you have the capability of going to the mid-late game and having some kind of split push where right now Alliance don't, and they're just going to go Juggernaut. So this is turned into, I'm assuming that's an offlane Juggernaut.
Yeah, it will
and then it's going to be, just get the healing ward. If we ever get an advantage in the game, it's going to be super easy to take Roshan because you'll have healing ward and a Chen. And on top of that, Juggernaut, he does really well against Gyrocopter because you can just go in and you can just spin to win.
Yep. Rocket Barrage is going to be damaging during that too, and he can break free of the Crystal Maiden as well. So it's a really good offlane pickup, and this is really like, it's very, very classic Navi. Like we're talking before, like the offlane live stealer was a little bit more old school from Navi, but the Juggernaut's also in that same scenario, and they don't really need much to go with the Juggernaut in the offlane. The Venomancer has been banned out already, but if you can find another like half-decent lane controller that can help set up for some things, then you're all good to go. The Bane was taken out, the Rubik was taken out. S4's already realized that the next key hero that's on the way, it belongs to Kuro. Like, his control right now has to be able to hold the gyro and hold the bounty hunter or somebody in position and just let Juggernaut go to absolute town. We finally see the Visage coming up here for Alliance. So, aggressive tri lane for Navi won't be that great until they can just rotate in with a champ, but nice dual lane, off lane, Phonic space up on the top lane, pick up a nice little hero that can tank up in the middle lane for Dendi. You can also initiate later on. Go to town.
I would actually like to see Alliance go aggressive here. Just because that aggressive tri-lane, Visage, Gyro, Crystal Maiden, dead hero. Like if you catch anyone.
But Navi can dodge it. Like if they throw Juggernaut up on that top lane, like you're talking about dead hero, Juggernaut just spins if he's up there. They can just rotate the lanes out, and if Clinks is up there, he just holds inside of Invis. We actually get Leshrac pick up here from Navi, and this will now be a safe lane.
That's a lot of push, isn't it?
Yeah,
Holy cow.
This is Healing Ward and Edict with a Chen army behind
and
you.
Clinks. Clinks push as well. I mean, they got a lot of tower push.
Basically, the way that I see it is Alliance want to meet the Clinks in lane. Like, they don't want to let the Clinks get free farm. So that's what you mean typically by saying, I want to see them go aggressive, because you would assume, under most circumstances, that the Chen's going to be in his woods. And Puppy started in his woods every single game, even the ones where he decided to just walk bottom because he realizes, hey, I can't really reliably gank the lane that I'm next to, so I'll just go to the other side of the map. Sure, they can rotate out, but Chen is one of the riskier heroes to move around a lot with because his creeps aren't really that fast. And he kind of is that hero who needs to get into a position where other supports don't have to worry about moving a whole army with him. So it's kind of a bit more of a hassle.
Can I ask a question, Andy?
Yeah.
Do you think that, well, Dendi hasn't picked his hero yet, obviously. Do you think this could be a Pudge game?
It could be a Pudge game. We haven't seen what mid Alliance is going to field yet, and that actually gives you an advantage in picking your mid, because it basically says, all right, if we don't pick something like a Puck, then we know that Navi could run a Pudge.
I think they will. I think they will pick a Puck here, though. It would be good initiation.
And Pudge is great for the slow siege lineups, because if you imagine you walk up to the tower, right? You have a full Chen army. You edict the tower and healing ward.
Yep.
The Pudge makes the other team have to stand so far away that you can't. Ted, you're like a genius.
I know, sir.
I want to see him pick it now just for you.
I'm scared.
I'm kind of waiting for the Magnus though. Ever since the changes up on Magnus's turn rate up against Batrider, he's such a great hero up against that. And to buff up a Juggernaut to give him cleave as well when they're trying to push down towers. That's where my gut feeling's moving right now.
What about Pugna?
Pugna, I cannot remember the last time I saw Dendi play Pugna.
Do they?
We'll go Stocko standard. We go with a Puck for Dendi.
It's the same kind of a thing, though, with a Puck and a Pudge, that both the heroes have this very long area of influence. So, like, if you're anywhere near Dendi and he's playing Puck, you know you can potentially get coiled and they can just run you down past the tower. Pudge kind of offers you the same thing, but Pudge is a really weak laner in comparison to what a Puck is. So he's just like, I respect S4 enough to know that if I pick a Pudge against a Bat Rider, he's going to make my life awful. So I kind of have to go Puck here.
Okay, well,
I mean, I wanted to see the Pudge.
we're going to go into this game. This is Alliance's last chance, really, in some ways. If they lose this, well, no, it's not their last chance, but if they lose this game, they're not going to be in the final. I know we've got a big Swedish crowd here. Maybe we could get them to give a big pro-Alliance cheer to give them some kind of support in the game. Crowd, are you going to give Alliance a cheer? Yeah, that was easy.
That was easy. You don't really have to talk them into it. They're like, oh yeah, we want Alliance
Like, oh,
to
cheer
win.
for Alliance. Yeah, no problem.
Well, let's see if they can be pushed forward by the crowd as we check out our lanes and where people are going to be running off to. So we will have a Vorst heading down south. So they're actually going to put a Vorst on the bottom lane and actually put him again on this almost sacrifice position. The middle lane will be played up by Dendy on his puck, Puppy Chen, Kuro Lashrak, and that leaves Funnick up as the Clink. So again, they're going to secure the farm over on the Clinks.
It makes sense though. Clinks is the most farm-reliant hero on the team that they have.
If he never hits the orchid timing right, then you miss his window of opportunity, and then S4 is going to be all over him.
Yeah, more or less. So Havost, like you were saying too, Toby, he can spin away from any aggression that comes. He can buy boots if he really wants to. It's not really going to hurt him or anything.
Look at him doing this thing again. Like, it's just a straight run down. I plant a ward, and I run back to pick up my items.
It's just that little bit of security in saying we know exactly where the other team's going to be. Just being able to spot them out. And right now, Alliance, they do want to go aggressive. We can see GM is making the transition at least towards top at the moment. Maybe they're just...
There's a rotation change right now.
Yeah,
Navi realized that Alliance have been poked up and had a little bit of a look around. So yeah, Admiral Bulldog's going to head down south. The tri-lane for Alliance moves up towards the top lane. But Chen as well as Kuro are making a bit of a move down towards that bottom lane. I think Puppy wants to see at least if he can get into the Radiant side jungle as opposed to having to deal with him on the other side. He sees Admiral Bulldog, deny the rune. Illusion.
And that's annoying because Bulldog can actually block his own camps with that, which makes going into the jungle for Puppy a heck of a lot harder.
Yeah. Instead, though, he's using it to harass down Puppy. Now he's going to move him back.
He's going to move at least one, and that one is going to be able to block the camp, so it's like, yep, no Chen creep for you.
Is it going to get there? Yeah, it'll get there in time. If it sits on the little magic spot, this little box right here, he's just going to block up the harder camp. But there's an Alpha Wolf as well as a troll, a Berserker troll. He doesn't want that kind of troll.
Right.
He wants the other troll. And Poppy's abandoned it. He's going back to his own jungle.
That's quite big, actually, isn't it? We've seen Puppy he loves wandering around. He likes to acquire creatures in their jungle. I wonder how that'll affect that initial rotation that he's been making.
Well, if it is actually a really big thing. Like, Pyrian, you're right. If you had a presence from a Chen harassing down the Admiral Bulldog, he's already going to have a rough time anyway up against Funnick. Even though Funnick at level 1, he didn't level up Searing Arrows. He went for the Skeleton Walk instead. So he's already feeling a little bit unsettled on this off lane anyway.
Yeah.
But if Puppy was down there, that bottom lane would be a completely different story right now.
I think, honestly, investing the Chen into that lane, if your only goal, really, is to make sure that Funnick gets farmed, then it's the right thing to do, which I think is pretty much what you guys are kind of hinting at. But for the most part, I think these lanes work out okay for Navi. Just because even if Funnick doesn't do great in his lane, Havost is going to be able to continue to find farm. And because of the fact that Puppy's now in their woods, suddenly the top lane feels a tremendous amount of pressure on the side of Alliance, because a Chen gank can pretty much get a kill.
A little bit of trouble. Frostbite, he gets the stun over on Loda, and then Avos tries to take up a little bit more of the damage. Loda won't get out of this one alive. The spin from Avos did a lot of damage, but Avos, he's in deep, and look at the silence of the damage. Alliance will open up with 2 heroes killed on this top lane. Kuro came back as quickly as he possibly could, but the damage was already done.
And there's that crowd getting behind Alliance.
That was some manly positioning from Kuro.
Funnick and Admiral Bulldog. You want man fight? They're doing it right now. Man to man. Mano a mano. Funnick, he goes invis. And Funnick, well, he's the man who actually has the vision. He's the only one with a sentry ward in this bottom lane. And now he's going to try again on Admiral Bulldog. You knew it was coming. And then Funnick, Admiral Bulldog, he's just at the range of the sentry. The range of the sentry literally arcs.
He would love that regen right now. Oh, that's nice for him.
That's just horrible.
Well, that's when you know things are going your way. That's back-to-back runes that couldn't be better for him.
That's an applause-worthy regen, I just wanted to say.
Yeah, he got a regen, hooray!
Dandy might be in a little bit of trouble right now. He's okay, though. He orbs back out again. But S4's forcing him out of that lane. This is always the power of the Batrider. Even with his nerf, once you get a couple levels, Pavor's going to spin in. They got the Troll Trap, the Shrek follow-up done. RK will go down now. Loda, also Chenyu got him. Koro is able to be picked off. Loda, 7 HP! Oh. 7 HP! Puppy's last attack, it just wasn't enough. And Admiral Bulldog's playing on the bottom lane too. Funny's going to be really careful. As that Shuritos gets up in the levels, that last bit of burst damage might be enough to pick him off.
Bulldog's been doing a really nice job at effectively trading in terms of damage. He's gone for the 1-1-2, so he has an extra point in the Shadow Walk, so the bonus damage that you can get from that is actually 120, because the Fade Time allows you to hit twice, so you use your Invis, you immediately hit, you hit again, and Funnick can't trade with that because his base armor is not nearly as high, and Bounty Hunter also has a Stout Shield, so he's being pressured really heavily.
Life is just not fun for Ricklings right now. But at the same time, though, notice up in this top lane, like Kuro's now got to a point where he's like, crap, I need to start pulling. Puppy goes back into the jungle. He hasn't got really the same amount of like oomph to his farm as he had before with the rotations. Haven't seen him really max level up yet. Like, he's sitting at level 3 right now, but all the supports are. Everyone is basically even Stevens. The gold is in fact going the way of Alliance, but experience, there's not really much in it. Like, it's 1k and 300. There's not really that much to write home about.
The top lane, I think, is going to be indicative of how the game goes for either team. If they can get Loda or Havos dies 1 or 2 times, then the dynamic of the game changes pretty heavily, because once the tri-lane loses, it's like the tri-lanes of old. You put so much effort into winning one lane that if you lose it, suddenly it's very hard to come back, and then you're going to be relying on somebody like Dendi to kind of bring you back in.
That fight in the bottom lane. I want to watch top lane though, because with the medallion of courage up in this top lane, I'm just waiting for a kill from the Visage. But this bottom lane is just such a fun battle to watch. This Invis versus Invis. It's like normally get a game of cat and mouse. In this case, they're both the mice.
Well, eventually the Bounty Hunter will lose because Klinks will get level 6, and then his damage and health will be way too high for Bounty Hunter to effectively trade with from that point. So the nice thing about that is that Bulldog doesn't have to stay in the lane. He can just go and do whatever he wants and then hope that they can maybe get some extra kills on top. But Ake might be a bit out of position here. Looks like there's no support though for Havos.
And Havos got no way to really keep up with him anyway.
Yeah.
If he had the phase boots right now, then top lane would be in a lot more trouble. But Havos is just... he hasn't got that much farm up just yet. Like his basic boots, got a stick charge up his sleeve too.
What's the plan with Juggernaut here? I mean, obviously you want to get him items and farm, but what are they hoping that he'll bring to the fight late game?
It's a lot about the healing ward, and it's also about the fact that he's one of the few heroes in the game that can freely go in no matter how much magic damage you have, right? Because if you spin, it's not just like a Lifestealer Rage where you're immune to magic. You're also doing a huge chunk of damage to basically everyone that you're near. So with that being said, there's not a lot of physical damage on the side of Alliance either until the Visage hits 6 and Gyrocopter starts getting some farm. So spin more or less makes him invulnerable during the early game stages, which is really nice if Navi were planning on using him as an offlaner, which I think was the original idea. But this still works out because with Healing Ward, you can keep yourself in the lane pretty much forever, as we're seeing right now. Havos can even farm under the tower with it. And whenever they engage, Havos can always go in, every single time.
We've got movement. We've got movement down to the bottom lane. Loda actually quite happily shows himself down here. So they've TP'd the Gyro out of the top. So now it's Loda going up against Funnick. So you called it perfectly, Draska. Like you said, like this lane's going to get really difficult for Admiral Bulldog once the levels came up on Funnick. So what do? Admiral Bulldog, well, he cops a searing arrow to the face now, realizing he's underneath the Sentry Ward. But if he keeps this track up on Funnick and then starts rotating around, Loda now could get some, well, even more farm down here on the bottom lane. He's already sitting at 32%, the second highest CSer on the board. But he knows where Funnick's moving. EGM will babysit him as well. And then S4's going to get some help in the mid by this roaming bounty.
I mean, Loda was already ahead on farm, and now they're going to protect him and give him even more farm. I think it's a good move.
It does let Loda get a bit more farm because Funnick's going to feel a lot of pressure in the bottom lane no matter what. Even with those sentries, he still feels uncomfortable, and in fact, he just leaves. He's like, yep, I don't want to be here. I might just go top and let Havos go to the lane that I was just in, because it's still going to be ridiculously hard to take down the Juggernaut, and that way it ensures that Funnick's going to be able to get to his Orchid more or less unobstructed.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Look at the support in the middle. They're waiting for the gang. Like, they know Bounty Hunter moved, so they stay smoked up. If Bounty is going to be on top of them, they'll be revealed anyway. The smoke is used as an indicator, in fact. But they actually, yeah, they got dust on the track, so they can see. In fact, there's the smoke being revealed. They should pop the dust right. Oh, wait, what?
Looks like they didn't. Well, maybe they realized it, but they realized it too late.
Unless that was actually just the end of the smoke timing.
I don't know if it was actually.
Yeah, I didn't check the timer on it.
They've been there a while.
Yeah, it could have just been the end of the smoke timing, and then just really, really good luck for Admiral Bulldog.
Bulldog's heart started beating so fast. He's like, oh god, oh god. If he clicked on the left track, would have been bad times.
That's like the fourth thing that's happened. Like Loader barely surviving, Bulldog getting 2 runes that he wanted, and then that. It's kind of going Alliance's way in this game. A lot of things.
Yeah, the regen rune was massive.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Dandy
Oh, mid.
gonna start up a middle lane with a dream call. S4, he's just trying to fight this one out. The track is there, so let the movement speed to try to escape from this one, but maybe he wants to get a kill on Dandy, but Dandy actually phase shifts and orbs down into the river, while Kuro, now the dust will work on Admiral Bulldog, looks for the stun, the edict damage, now you'll see him, he's gonna get this one in time, and he gets it.
Whoa.
Navi get both the bounty and the bat in this middle lane for no damage. No heroes lost.
That was such a fast reaction, too, from Navi. You said it earlier. They were just waiting for Admiral Bulldog to come out. So, again, the predictability of movement. When you're playing against really, really good teams, they just have that sense of, hey, the bounty's not in the lane anymore. Lotus down here farming. Clearly, this guy is going to try to gank mid or maybe top. But the thing is, top is so hard to kill. And now we're going to see another rotation here from Dendi. But he does not have coils, so don't think much is going to happen out of it.
Yeah.
By the way, for anybody listening at home and hearing cheering, 50% of the cheering is from the Dota 2 crowd, 50% of the cheering is from the StarCraft crowd next door.
The Street Fighter crowd was also cheering earlier.
The Street Fighter crowd was also, they were also giving it the good
Man,
cheer.
those fighting games, they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Watching this top lane now. Movements come up from Admiral Bulldog. So the rotation's going to happen again. And Funny, he's just getting out of here. There's a sentry wall just around the corner, so they're waiting for Admiral Bulldog just to, for Funny just to walk around the corner in range of that sentry, then Frostbite to murder. That's the plan right now. But when he death packs like this, they've still got 1,200 life points to get through.
Yeah.
This is not a simple kill to try and take. And Kuro, he's back behind the tower, so Admiral Bulldog at least finds him. I'm not quite sure if he can solo him right now, even with the 3 points up in the Shuri toss, but he could definitely bring him down below half of his life points. And there's the first attack.
He doesn't get the track off, though, which is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah. Lost him in the trees. But on the bright side, Loader's going to destroy this top lane. Is him turn on the flat cannon? I wonder if he'll use Rocket Barrage as well just to ensure it. Either way, they want this top tier 1 tower.
It looks like Navi's response is just going to be counter push. They have healing ward. Yeah, they have healing ward too, so it's going to be really, really easy for them to take the tower. The problem is right now is Funnick is not having the best time.
Kuro, you crazy man. He picks up a haste rune and he just pops off the dust thinking maybe he can catch somebody out.
But he unfortunately will never know. It is Bulldogs.
S4 doing the Broodmother thing, walking outside the map, and there's more TPs coming in. Denny's also here, and Admiral Bulldog starts up instantly. The Centaur is already let off the stomp right now, and Admiral Bulldog is very, very low. Centaur as well as the Force beating down onto Admiral Bulldog. Denny, he's still low on life, but he's not as bad as Arcade. After Chen drops the nuke onto him. More TP supports on the way, and Alliance now coming in one up the other. They cancel the TP, realizing Leshrac Split Earth was going to come down at the perfect time, but that means Avorst. Now he goes into a spin, he's damaging on both EGM as well as S4. The lasso is dragging Avorst away. Soul Assumption damage. One more attack, S4 gets the kill, but Dandy, one more attack with Chen. Gives Puppy a killing spree. And Navi with a better trade-off at the end of the day.
TPing directly into Puck, Silence, Dream Coil. That ain't much fun.
Bottom tower's going to get denied. Or maybe he doesn't. Those familiars had max damage. He attempted that.
I think that was a case of Alliance wanting their cake and eating it too, or whatever the saying is. I probably butchered that.
No, that was right.
It was right? Okay. So, like, they get the tier 1 top, and they say, okay, we have time to TP bottom. Let's go instantly. Let's just TP because S4 is already getting initiated on. Maybe we can turn the fight. And then they lose pretty much everybody who goes down there, and they lose the tower anyway. So, a bit of greed, I would say, coming out from Alliance trying to get that. Especially when you're playing against a team that has healing ward. You can engage for such extended periods of time because you just have perma health, basically. It's a portable well, more or less. Doesn't give you mana, but certainly keeps you in fighting shape. So Alliance, they still have a bit of work cut out for them. Thank goodness S4 now has his Blink Dagger. So if he wants to try to initiate for the team, which I think is really important against Navi's style of lineup, when a team just walks up to a tower, you want the capability of pulling somebody out to the rest of your team to be able to kill them.
The only issue is he doesn't have lasso right now. And if he was able to initiate directly on a horse, it would have been okay. But then he also picked up his own blink dagger. Jumps in, jumps out.
That silence.
It's just...
It's up now, Lasso. So
Yeah.
he does have it.
But the problem is I don't know if Denny was quick enough or someone was quick enough on the buttons to see that. But it looks like Navi don't care anyway. They're just going to go in for Roshan. They don't have an undead army here to help out though. But they have Frost Armor from the Ogre Frost Mage. They've already got the Centaur, so Swiftness Aura galore. And then, as you mentioned at the early portions of this cast, you've got a Healing Ward from a Vost. So while that's up and running, the Centaurs can tank up, a Vost can tank up. Either way, no one loses any line points while bringing down Roshan. But the Familiars will be coming in to scatter it out.
It is a bit dangerous, though, because between Call Down,
Well, they lost one.
a Bat Rider Initiation,
They're
and
coming in.
Crystal Maiden ulti, yeah.
Firefly's there. Funnick is also hovering around. He has them all. Danny double silence. And then double Dream Call as well. Arcade. He just gets destroyed by Funnick. And they've also got the Sun over an Admiral Bulldog. He's in range of the tower. Chen Yuken's Searing Arrow. And then doesn't need one more hit. Havos spinning over on double loader right now. Looks like he's trying to deliver off the rest of the drum recipe, which is now finally in. He could not finish the job on one, but at least Bat Rider down a little bit further in the river. And EGM Troll trapped up. Familiars, they need to make some space. One stun, two stun. Able to pick up two on both of those, but it will not be the escape for EGM. And that's also the freshly summoned Familiars that just got farmed up in the river.
Yeah, that hurts a lot. You know what I really like about this game, though, is that you can obviously tell that there are a lot of Alliance fans in the crowd, but they still applaud Navi doing well because
Yeah,
they have their respect for the good Doge. You know?
People admire the skillful players.
Yeah.
You have to.
Just
But-
applaud good Dota.
Navi now get Roshan, so they have a pretty significant lead at this stage in the game. Klink's now finishing up the Orchid. Even though Funnick didn't have the best time in the early stages, compare right now Funnick's farm to Bulldog. That is a 16 CS bounty hunter
Yeah.
at 15 minutes in. So the only farm he ever got was prior to hitting level 6.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That's not... That's a horrible way to look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts, but that's the dynamic of the hero, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't sit in a lane and farm after you hit 6. You just don't do it.
So when you need to get money from track when you rotate.
When your team isn't getting kills and you're relying on track kills to be your income, then you're kind of screwed when it doesn't happen, right? So now it's a bounty hunter who is behind is pretty much just like a Viper, like Sam was saying. It's like the hero is okay from behind as long as you're finding some kills, but they're really not.
Yeah. And right now it's going to get even harder. Poppy just purchased up a gem, so we'll be coming back out the courier once the courier's gone back to base. And of course starting up in the Aghanim Scepter. You already finished up the drums, like halfway through that fight. But now he's also going to be building into having that full Aghanims. And that's already with a level 2 ultimate of his. Middle lane, they're trying to again. They're really relying on S4 to find an opening here. But they have not found one. Admiral Bulldog will see the Chen army come down, but not the Chen. Navi is just almost fully grouped up, while Alliance are actually only 4. They're giving that space to Loda, who, when you're behind, you pick a hand of Midas. You got a hand of Midas before he finishes the BKB. And Navi's actually giving him space down here on the bottom lane to use that Midas.
Well, I don't know if they're necessarily giving him space because they're pushing into mid-tier 1. If they force a reaction out of him, then they're certainly not giving
Danny
him space.
jumps in, found S4. Couldn't get the silence off as well, but now he does do so. And the Dream Call, Soul Assumption damage trying to fly, but Danny able to phase shift away from it. So he does not go down on EGM. Trapped up once. There's Unova as well as Greychill, so he's got the movement speed to get away. While on the bottom lane, Funnick is soloing Loda. It almost dropped him. The Orchid damage was enough to finish the job. But this mid tower is just getting Edict down. 4 points up an Edict as well from Kuro. There's no fortification available left anymore. And Dandy jumps in again, searching for Roccat. The last attack will actually connect as well. Phase shifts down, the track is there. But if they go in any deeper, Havos, oh, he doesn't jump it. Gets stunned up by the Familiars, too far away to get that Omni Slash off. But again, they camp up these Familiars, and they'll both go down.
They have so much push, it's ridiculous.
Juggernaut Chen, man. You will lose your buildings. That's kind of how this lineup works.
Oh, Deji. You crazy, crazy man. Havos, he jumps in deeper onto Admiral Bulldog, but now he's behind the tier 3 towers. There's more TPs coming out, and S4 jumps in. Havos paying the price for the overcommittal.
Not just yet. They can't do that just yet, I don't think. A little
Almost.
bit...
If he had Omni'd Loda, it would have been a kill, but he wasn't close enough, so he had to go for Bulldog instead.
That was Bulldog just jumps in, Fizz. But
That was manly, I'll say that.
It was over-aggressive, I think, would be.
That's a forced. That's what we accept
Yeah.
from him.
It's like every once in a while, you just gotta dive to tier 3 when the tier 2 is still alive.
Yeah. Middle lane, jump on Bulldog, silence, dream call. Kuro won't let off the stun. He realized if Bulldog walks out of range, then he was 1 point of the pulse to get the kill. Now that's a great way to kill secure.
I'm a fan. It doesn't really do that much damage.
So that's a little bit
like
harder to do.
60 or something at level 1, right?
So,
Yeah,
what do you
66.
get next on Puck here? Just Orchid or something like that?
Dagon.
There. Kill
It's the
stuff.
same reason you got a Dagon last game. Even if you only get a Dagon 1, it's still 400 base damage, which I guess is 300 to a hero because of the built-in magic resist. But it's still really nice for securing kills.
Yeah.
Whenever you go in and you throw out a coil, a silence, and an orb, usually at this stage, heroes are going to be at what, like 25% health, maybe a little bit more if you're a carry. But if you have a Dagon, you get the insta-kill factor, which is really nice to have. He might just go straight Hex though. Maybe Puppy's yelling at him for getting a Dagon last game.
I think Puppy yelled at him to get the side of the vice halfway through that last game anyway.
Yeah.
And I love too the Kuro's already doing the
top
prep
tower
for
is
this.
under
Like, they're
attack.
doing the prep for the jump in. I also like the way he did it. With this aggressive ward they put up on the cliff, it's just sitting up there, but they cleaned off the tree line. He used a split earth to destroy this little box right here, this tree line right there, so he didn't have to risk himself
Radiant's
coming in and drop
bottom
down
tower is
that
under
ward.
attack.
Small little thing. Just want to point it out.
They have a pretty substantial lead if you look at the graphs.
Yeah.
That was nearly 10. That should be 10k gold in 20 minutes.
It's just map control, man.
Yeah.
That's what Navi have been stressing this entire series. And the one thing about Alliance's drafts that we keep coming back to is the comeback factor. Well, this lineup probably has the least comeback factor of any draft that they've picked so far. This is more of a straight up, we want to try to fight you lineup.
Funnick, EGM. He was waiting so long for that one. Now he's tracked up himself, and with the dust popping off, Admiral Bulldog, wow, and a half his life points. The Lions at least lucky enough to escape from that, but they're going to lose their bottom tower.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
This is all just smoke and mirrors, distraction. 2 Euros try and hunt in the middle lane, 3 Euros push out the bottom, and now Navi, there's a jump in. S4 grabbing Puppy, dragging him back. Admiral Bulldog, they nuke him down very, very quickly. No chance for the hand of God. He got the mech off before.
And that's the kind of thing that they were trying to do when their tier 1s were still standing, right? Like you get the Blink Dagger, you use S4 to start the engagement on your terms. You don't ever want to let a team with a Chen and a Juggernaut just walk up to your tower before you start the fight, because then the healing ward goes down and all of a sudden you just get that looming sense of we can't really fight this because there's a massive creep army, potentially another creep wave, and the entirety of Navi just beating on your tower. It's very similar to playing against a hero like Shadow Shaman. You just want to get there before the action starts and get a fight initiated using S4.
Denny's coming down to initiate one here. This aggressive observer ward just planted down is really keeping tabs on what's going on around that tier 2 tower. So when Denny does jump, he knows where he's committing to. And it is like Mystic Staff, Scythe of Ice, enjoy the times. But Denny with an Invis rune and having a gem, he's watching ever so closely all these maneuvers. But there's no kill going to be coming off. Unexpected farming, trying to finish up his BKB. With the Ghost Scepter on Puppy, they're just not in the position to start killing it. They're giving at least Alliance some breathing space.
So Andy, here's a question, right? And I've talked about this in the last game where Alliance like to have heroes that they can
Might
catch
have to wait
up
a
with.
second. Oh no, we're good. Yeah, keep going.
They like to have heroes they can catch up with. Now, normally Bounty is a kind of hero. If you start getting track kills, you can catch up really quickly. But because they're not getting any kills, they're not catching up.
That's just it. It's like Bounty Hunter is so polarizing in terms of what he brings to the team. When you're ahead, Bounty Hunter is amazing because every single kill you get is worth so much more. And at that point, you don't really even have to go for towers anymore as long as you're getting good team fights back to back. Even trading 3 for 3, if the Bounty Hunter lives to the fight and you get track, it's still better for the team with the Bounty Hunter. But when you don't actually have a team who can 5-man against the opponents, because Navi's 5-man is actually a bit stronger right now, then you have problems. Bulldog is going to scout out the high ground here, maybe looking to try to start a fight, and S4 gets a haste. That's perfect for them.
But at the same time, Navi's rotating all their players back off that bottom lane, so they'll be ready for this fight if S4 did go in for that. But they decide to back up. They're going to move up towards the top lane instead, try and still want to fight inside the jungle. But Divorce definitely shows himself in the mid. And he is only now 500 gold away. But Alliance is prepping. They are prepping so hard to come on this middle lane. But it's still a 3v5 right now. Both Loader as well as EGM are too far away.
Yep.
Well, I think even if they start the fight, since S4 has a haste, he can actually drag somebody so far during the duration of his lasso with the Force Staff that the rest of the team could get there to help him.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
We'll have to see, though. It doesn't look like Alliance are looking to fight at the moment. Everyone's kind of just walked back to their side of the map.
It's just the calm before the Roche, which is